Coffee. Hey there,
And
folks.
bourbon.
I am the mighty Plantain Bushes here, and he has brought us Barrel and Bean from Allagash Brewing in Portland, Maine. This is a triple ale aged in bourbon barrels and blended with cold brewed coffee. Now, we've seen some Allagash brews that were blended with coffee before. We've seen a lot of brews that are blended with coffee beans. But this is actually saying that it's a triple ale aged in bourbon barrels
First.
and then blended with
the coffee, with the cold brew, which actually we don't. You're starting to see that more often, especially at like Dunkin' Donuts and all that. Yeah. But as far as like cold brew blended in beer, you don't see it as often.
No,
you do see a lot of the cocoa beans and stuff like that, but the cocoa beans.
Then there's a difference between adding coffee beans to the beer and blending it with an actual
coffee.
Now, they don't say what percentage it's done in, but,
See, now, do you remember how was it that Harpoon did the Dunkin' Donuts?
I don't remember. I don't
was
think
that
they actually
brewed with coffee? Was it, or was the malt actually done with coffee?
I can't remember. It was the first one was the porter. There's also a Dunkin' Donuts summer something.
For Harpoon?
We haven't. Yes, there are two different Dunkin' Donuts and Harpoon collaborations, and we haven't seen the summer one and gotten a hold of it yet. But we're hoping it's showing up soon.
Yep.
I mean, hell, we're in Maine.
I mean, you do have
New England loves Dunkin'.
Yeah, actually, the whole country does.
Let's make that Dunks run. You want anything at Dunks? I'm going to Dunks. Dunkin' Donuts shortened their name to Dunkin'. Here in Maine, we've already taken it one step further. We're going to Dunks.
Well, they haven't changed it yet, as far as the signage.
Give them a couple of years.
Yeah.
But anyway, it says here for Barrel and Bean, we aged over our triple, a Belgian-style golden ale, in bourbon barrels. Hell yes. For 7 weeks. Then blend in cold brewed coffee from Speckled Axe, which is a local Maine company, isn't it?
Yep. I think that's in Portland, or near Portland area.
Makes sense, because that's where Allagash is.
Well, a lot of them are, you see either Aroma Joe or some other artisan coffee or offshoot local coffee brewer, not coffee, but coffee aficionado.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
But they don't say what the percentage is, so we don't know how much of the Allagash triple is versus the this cold brewed coffee. We'll probably be able to offer a guess in a minute here, but it's at 10% ABV,
which is pretty good.
It's a rugged beer. Anything in the double digits is rugged. I didn't get a good bite on that one, but it gives me an indicator of how deep I've got to go on that one to get it in one stroke. Everybody wants to pop off their cap in one stroke.
Wow. That's awful light for a freaking coffee.
It is lighter than I would have thought. But Allagash has some other coffee-based beers that are lighter in color and heavy on coffee flavor.
Yes, and that's probably what they tried to get away from by doing this. By using their more of a lighter golden ale than, like, say, a porter, because this isn't a porter.
No, it's their triple, Belgian style.
Right, so they most likely, and by the looks, they used a very low percentage of coffee.
Yeah, because the color is mostly that golden color.
Yeah.
It's slightly hazy. It's very effervescent. We got a nice creamy head on that.
Roddy likes a creamy head.
With very little effort. And there's a lot of bubbles still coming up through there, but you can tell that there's a bit of brownness to it, but like you said...
But it's not...
It doesn't seem like it's an overwhelming amount of coffee.
Right. But I am getting a little bit of the aroma from the coffee. But I'm also wondering if they just used a black coffee or if it actually had a mixture in it, like
Well, I doubt there was any cream and sugar.
Right, but you never know.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're getting a little bit of a... See, from right here, you're getting that little bit of coffee. When you come into to actually smell it, you're getting a lot of that golden ale.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a lot of the earthy flavors and aromas that you get from an Allagash beer.
Yeah, the bitterness of the coffee is a little understated once you get your nose actually in there.
Right.
But it's complemented, like you said, with some earthy and toasty notes.
See, well, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting a little bit of, like you said in one review, a little bit of dirt.
Yeah, a little bit of dirt. You're
getting that. I think it's more of a grainy dirt flavor, and I'm kind of wondering. It doesn't say on the bottle. I'm kind of wondering if it is a filtered.
I would assume filtered
because usually
I'm not seeing a lot of particulates.
See, the thing is, a lot of Allagash stuff isn't filtered.
They have done some unfiltered beers that were pretty damn good, and honestly, they're one of the breweries that's turned me on to unfiltered beers because I didn't like seeing particulates.
Unfiltered and bottle conditioned as well.
Yes, but this is definitely a barrel aged. There's a little bit of haziness.
See, that's the other thing. I'm getting just a tiny little bit of that charred oak.
Yeah, those toasty notes are coming through. But is it roasted?
It's very subtle.
Bean, or is it toasted wood?
I'm getting more of the wood. And shut up, Maya. Shut up, Davis.
Boosh gets wood.
No.
Every time he sits next to me.
No. It's really an interesting combo.
No, I could sit here and smell this all night.
They need to make a candle out of this.
Allagash Brewing and Yankee Candle wouldn't be the first beer company around here to pair with a Yankee Candle. Don't ask me to quote specifics, but I know there are beer-scented candles from Yankee.
Really?
That involve local breweries. Mm-hmm.
I have heard about that actually, but all right,
It smells great. Yeah.
It's time to taste.
That's interesting. It's actually light and slightly sour, like a Belgian would be.
It is sour, but I think that's probably the characteristic of the bourbon. Whatever they use for a bourbon. See, that's the thing they don't mention is what the bourbon brand or what it was. Could be a
local, it could be a national, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Most likely with Allagash, though, it's probably local.
Probably.
Because they try and stick with local ingredients. So, it has a very subtle hint of the coffee.
It's in the finish.
Yes.
It comes through after you've gotten that slightly sour Belgian style triple.
But it almost tastes like there's a little bit of a very small, subtle hint of chocolate mixed in.
I am getting chocolate notes, but I'm also getting the caramelized wood,
which kind of makes it to me. Which kind of makes it to me taste like peanut butter.
I can see that.
In the aftertaste, there's a little hint of peanut butter.
I can see it. There
is a very small hint of peanut butter, which is kind of odd for this type, but it's the combinations of these ingredients and the aging process of what they did. It's a very good beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, overwhelmingly up front, I'm getting that sour Belgian triple because of the yeasts that are used in the Belgian styles, and it's but like you said, it fades.
It fades away to a almost mocha chocolate. Not mocha, not chocolate, because mocha is chocolate and coffee. It kind of fades to that peanut buttery.
Yeah, because there's very subtle notes in between of coffee, roasted flavor, and then some woody caramel. Like I said, the wood sugars.
Yep.
That caramelization of the barrel.
And I think
picking up from the bourbon.
That's kind of where it's coming from. Is that bourbon? The bourbon barrel is kind of what's giving me that nutty flavor, I think.
Yeah, something's coming into play because at the very end, I am definitely getting a nutty.
And it's not like some of the other ones where they've been aged in bourbon barrels for longer, where you get the bourbon, the bourbon
beer.
Flavor.
Yeah,
right.
It's a Boilermaker in a bottle.
Right, and the other thing is this is a 10%, and we're not getting that alcohol. We're not getting that alcohol flavor. It'll probably hit us later on.
Or right now.
Or, for you maybe. But the only problem is we have a couple more reviews to do, and one of them is going to be another 10. One of them is going to be 10.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll get through them tonight.
Oh, yeah.
But no, this is a very complex beer that evolves on the palate as you drink it.
Yes.
And like you said, the big surprise is for a 10% ABV beer that was aged in bourbon barrels, I am not getting that boozy flavor. I'm not getting that overwhelming alcohol flavor that you get from a 10% typically.
Typically, yeah. And actually, I think we're finding that a lot with these higher ABVs. Anyway.
The breweries are starting to learn how to mellow that out.
Right, and by other flavors. And just like what that other guy at that brewery at the Extreme Beer Fest said about the habanero scalping that we not the scalping. The
habanero scalping was a scorcher.
That was a good one. The other one that we saw there, I can't remember what the name of it was.
But it was more about let's get the pepper flavor in there with a bit of heat.
Right,
versus...
and it's like they wanted to actually get all of the ingredients to actually come through, and Allagash has done that very well with this beer.
Yeah, this is an extremely complex flavor, and I'm getting hints of different parts of the beer. The Belgian triple, the cold brewed coffee. I'm getting the reminiscence of the bourbon barrels.
The bourbon aged. I'm kind of wondering though if they actually went a little bit longer on the aging process in the barrel. If it would actually how it would improve or unimprove, but you never know.
I think it would detract from this beer because I'm getting hints of everything. Versus if you left it in the barrel long,
you get more of the
barrel flavor and more bourbon notes.
Well, the other thing is how else did they do that though? It was supposed to be actually aged with staves, which is a little bit different than like just putting it in a barrel.
Yeah, this says in a barrel, so in bourbon barrels, not over staves. So
okay.
This was actually placed in the barrel.
In the barrel. So, that being said, with this being, with you getting the different complex flavors, it's a very complex beer, and if they used any hops in it, you don't taste those.
No, I'm not getting any of the hoppy bitterness.
It's mostly the and I think that's where you're getting the bitterness is from the coffee.
Yeah.
Definitely from the coffee. You're getting the sweetness from the barrels.
That's definitely a toasty coffee bitterness, not a hoppy...
bitterness.
Different hop ester bitterness,
right.
Yeah.
Which actually puts it, for me, at a 5.
I was going to say, for me, it's got such complexity, and it's an evolving flavor.
And every time you take a sip, I'm kind of wondering if, these came in a 4-pack. I'm wondering if, like the second beer, if you drink the second beer, how that's going to evolve on top of the first.
Dude,
because
time
like you said,
glass, I'm getting different notes.
Right, and who knows how that's going to actually contrast through the rest of those.
That's why for me it's a 5 out of 5 as well. I mean, this beer is just really well put together, and it's got so many complex notes that come out at different times as you're drinking it.
And it is exactly as they said it is. You get that bourbon, you get the coffee, and you get the flavor of the ale.
It's unique.
Very
it's
unique.
different, and the flavors evolve and change as you drink it.
Right.
I mean, that's a full-on 5 out of 5 from both of us.
Yep. And in actuality, this was a 4-pack is like $17.
For 10%, that's not bad.
Right, for 10%, it's not bad, but also, though, it is definitely worth it. I think.
I would say so.
I would definitely say it is worth it.
I got it for free. He bought it, so.
Well, we didn't get the 6-pack. We got another one. We got another beer that's coming up. So, very good.
Yeah.
Maine Brewery. And really, there's not much else to say about it. I mean, I think we covered it.
The only other thing I have to say is if you go to Allagash in Portland, Maine, do the brewery tour, get the free samples, but then walk across the street, hit Definitive.
Yep.
For more, there's no tour or samples over at Definitive, but they're a solid emerging Maine brewery. And when you're done at Definitive, you can walk across one more street.
Yep.
And you can hit, I think, 4 other breweries plus
Yep.
a Maine distillery.
A Maine distillery. Isn't
Austin
Gary's
Street,
in there too?
I don't know where Gary's is, but
I'm not sure.
Allagash Definitive,
There's
Austin
a couple
Street,
others in that area.
Battery Steel. I'm drawing a blank on the other two.
The thing is, as far as what I've heard, and this has actually been on the news, is Maine is actually steadily becoming the craft brewery capital of the U.S.
Well, that's because we have some of the best fucking beers in the U.S.
Well, for one thing, we have the best ingredients to work with. And the other thing is they also said,
folks, but we both agree on it.
Well, the thing is, that's true, and it's actually been on the news. Is they've actually said that Maine is one of the growing states as far as that goes as well for craft beer. And one of the first pioneers in Maine craft brew was Gary's, for one.
Yeah, I'll give them credit for some.
But the thing is, though, they haven't changed a whole lot since they started.
And they gouged the tourists on their growler refills. So.
But now they are actually making some changes, and I just heard about something.
I'm sorry, the growler refill at Gary's is a sore point for me because I think it's gouging prices.
Right, it probably is. It probably is. But
they got great beers, but it ain't worth it. They charge you for the 64-ounce growler.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, their beers haven't changed much. So they haven't actually included any newer beers.
They're good beers with a lack of innovation. But
right.
What they do have is fucking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try those out.
I'll say that.
But they're also, fucking is good.
Mm-hmm.
When you say fucking...
But they're fucking awesome.
Right.
I followed it with awesome.
Well, the thing is...
Like I said, their beers are fucking awesome. They need to work on the pricing structure.
I've seen also on a study that when you curse more, the person who curses, actually just curses, is more honest.
I'm always honest. Anyway.
So, they're not politically correct, which is actually what we need. We don't need politically correct, which we're getting off on this, but...
Yeah, let's circle back to your original point about the Allagash breweries.
Allagash is one of the best breweries in Maine. Is one of the top 5.
One of the earliest, and they do have a very good product lineup.
If you really want to try Allagash, get their 16 County.
That is a great beer as well. It's another 5 out of 5.
Yes. But for both of us, I believe.
So we've established a couple of things, but I just want to touch again on the tourist angle here.
Which is what we're trying to get at anyway.
Allagash Brewery, across the street from them is Definitive, which is an emerging, younger Maine brewery with a lot of solid beers. And one more step over is an industrial complex where you can hit a Maine distillery, plus Battery Steel, Austin Street, and 2 other
breweries, maybe a distillery.
At least 2 other breweries whose names escape me, and I hate
that. Let me ask you one question though. Is that in the Old Port?
No.
Okay.
No, that's right
because that's where we found the Thirsty Pig.
Yeah, the Thirsty Pig is close to Liquid Riot.
Okay.
Yeah, Liquid Riot is fucking awesome.
Liquid Riot was another one.
Great beers, great distillery on top of that. And then the Thirsty Pig has all the fucking exotic hot dogs that you could possibly want. Man, Portland, Maine is a gold mine for tourists.
Yes, it is. The problem is they're liberal.
Well, we won't get into the political part, but beer and distilling, Portland, Maine, all that shit we already mentioned, plus so many more like Island Dog Brewing,
yep,
which is also close to the farms. Crap.
Should be
Cider.
cider.
Urban Farm Fermentory.
Yeah.
Which has got some alternative stuff, which is right up the street from two other breweries.
Well, see, that's
Blaze and one other. Whose name's
that's another thing that we're actually going to try and get into a little bit more is some of the cider.
Yeah.
We're going to try and get into some of the cider beers or liqueurs or whatever you want to call them. We have done a few, but those were mainly the ones that were hitting off, like Angry Orchard and what was the other one? The Stella Artois, was that cider?
Cider.
Cider.
And we've done it.
Those are some other videos that you can check out.
But in the meantime, we have probably hit the half-hour mark on this video.
Maybe. But you know what? It's all good stuff. And try it. You'll like it if you like coffee and you like beer.
It's a damn good solid offering from Allagash.
Yep.
5 out of 5 from both of us.
Yep.
And hopefully you've gleaned some valuable tourist information from all the other ramblings here.
Yep.
But
really,
make sure to talk to us.
What I was actually going to say, Maine's becoming the beer capital of the U.S. Portland is the beer capital of Maine. Basically. Bangor is catching up to that.
Yeah.
Because they're getting a lot in Bangor and Brewer, which, well, come on, Brewer.
Yeah. Yes. As far as the main breweries are concerned, Portland is definitely leading in numbers. Come bring your tourist dollars to us. While you're at it, hit us up down in the comments, an email link down below. Let us know what you have to say about this beer, Allagash beers in general, or any of the other shit we've rambled about today.
Yep.
Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, folks, drink Maine beers. And cheers.
And keep drinking. That's the only way.